Oh hey! I didn't see you there. Hey Miss Yang, Mark 45 Studios here. What if half of the population of Earth suddenly vanished because of an asteroid or something else? Hey, Oz? I don't feel so good.
Hey, Ryan, why do you always run off? You don't need any more V-Bucks.
But seriously, asteroids pass by in near-Earth orbits constantly. How do we know when such an asteroid will hit the Earth? Would anything change as a result? Well, as Jonas Salk would put it, if all insects were to disappear from the Earth within 50 years, all life on Earth would end. If all human beings disappeared from the Earth, within 50 years of all forms of life would flourish. Are humans doomed to extinction? The answer and solution to all this is to expand! No, we're not going to stretch anything. We're going to cover new territory. This is what all species have been doing since life existed on Earth, hence migration. It is natural for humans to also expand our territories to increase our chances of survival. If an asteroid manages to hit one of our planets, we will be able to at least recuperate. So why haven't humans explored Mars? It may seem possible and quite easy due to today's technology. Even big economic space companies like SpaceX claim they could have humans on Mars by 2024. However, it will be very unlikely if we didn't set up a moon base and didn't send robots there first to develop habitable conditions. Unfortunately, there are just many problems with colonizing this red planet. Although scientists have confirmed ice on the pole of Mars, not all of it is easily accessible. Mars bases will need to be stationed near the poles, but that wouldn't work for a very simple reason. The place is colder than a Costco fridge! Because of the huge temperature drop, any base on Mars would require a heavy amount of energy. Solar energy would only be 40% as effective, and dust storms on Mars would make it useless. Fusion wouldn't work either because Mars is too cold. The only solution is nuclear energy. Nuclear energy would be a reliable source of energy that could be the power of the base for multiple years. But Mars does not have a lot of easily accessible radioactive minerals. Therefore, the solution is to bring all the parts for the reactor and the minerals of the Earth. A costly solution, but entirely possible. The atmosphere on Mars is 95.3% carbon dioxide and is only 0.6% as dense as Earth's. Therefore, there will be a great pressure difference between the habitat and the exterior. The astronauts will also need to deal with radiation. A lot of radiation. Without much of a magnetosphere, half of the radiation from space would reach the surface of Mars. This is around 50 times more radioactive than Earth. Habitats could be shielded from radiation with frozen carbon dioxide and dirt, but sadly, they won't be able to have any windows to look at the Martian landscape. And even with the habits buried, this solution only reduces radiation enough to allow the astronauts to work on Mars. Crews would need to rotate every few years. There wouldn't be any protection for astronauts working outside, even in their suits. What? Instead, astronauts would control robots working outside. Mars' gravity is only 38% as effective as Earth's, so the astronauts in the Mars base will need to exercise a lot. And I mean a lot. Now that we have a habitat for our astronauts, we need to feed them. Ramsey!
What are you?
An idiot sandwich.
Contrary to science fiction films, it is much harder to grow any food on Mars. I'm not kidding. Like, look at the movie The Martian. Look how Matt Damon tried to grow potatoes on Mars. Mars' soil is filled with toxic perchlorate salts, which have a pH of 8 to 9 and lack nitrogen. Instead, aquaponics, fish and plants, would be the ideal solution to raise fish and plants together, giving astronauts a change in their diet. Lots of omega-3! This will help their psychological and mental health. With these things in mind, we need a constant supply of resources, nuclear energy, parts, and most importantly, crew. If all these things work perfectly, there's one last thing to keep in mind. Mars and Earth are very far from each other. If you look at the diagram of the solar system, it doesn't look like it. It doesn't seem like it's far, but psych! Our orbits are different, and it leaves a travel window of 2 years. It will take 150 to 300 days to go to Mars, and if there's an emergency, Earth would be helpless outside of the time window. Mars is just not ready to be colonized by us yet. Colonizing the moon instead is very likely and completely possible in the near future. There are many similar problems that we need to face when colonizing the moon, but it will be much easier as Earth is much closer to the moon. Solar panels will be half as effective because the moon could be at 29 to 180 Earth days depending on the poles. Temperature could vary from a negative 173 degrees Celsius on the dark side to 127 degrees on the bright side. There is absolutely no atmosphere on the moon to shield from meteorites and radiation, which means that 100% of space radiation reaches the surface of the moon. The moon is a quarter the diameter of Earth with only 1.2% of Earth's mass. The moon's gravity is only 1/6 of the Earth's gravity, making it easier and cheaper to leave the atmosphere of the moon. The moon will be a prime, necessary location to serve as an outpost for future exploration and expeditions. If we find water, we will need to be able to easily access the abundant source of water. Because lunar soil is just not ideal for crops. Lunar soil can instead be used to make concrete. Water will be used for the astronauts to drink, the oxygen to breathe, and hydrogen for rocket fuel. NASA recently made an announcement saying that we are going to the moon by 2024. Going to the moon costs a lot of money, and that is one reason why we haven't returned to the moon in a while. 21.5 billion USD is NASA's budget for 2019, but NASA's space flight budget is only 3.7 billion for 2019. We have other countries who want to dip in, such as Japan. Boop. Japan wants to land a human on the moon by 2030.
China, 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 China
wants to land a Chinese astronaut on the moon by 2036, and Russia has plans to build a lunar colony with 12 cosmonauts by 2030. Other space companies are interested in the moon as well. That is to say, if the astronauts are able to survive the psychological beatdown of being far from society and doing the same thing every day. Let us hope that one day we will learn to turn our rockets away from each other and more towards the sky. Let's hope humankind doesn't destroy itself because of some stupid political reasons and be able to venture into the sky and explore what's up there, what's beyond our atmosphere. And as always, I'm Mark45 Studios. You beautiful people are amazing, and thank you for watching.
Oh, actually, ow! Oh, this was not scripted. Actually, hit me this time. Oh my god.
So let's say we have the US and me, I want help. That's not an offensive thing! Ah!
I cannot write this.
With only 1.2 of Earth's masses. The moon is a quarter of the move. Wow. The moon is only a quarter the diameter of Earth. To No. Okay. Serious mode. Okay. The moon. We need water for aquaponics because with only 1.2 of Earth's mass.
1.2 what?
Oh.